Hello. This is Johnny M. and Boris speaking to you from the spectacular Casa de Johnny in beautiful Los Angeles, California. Fire has been a big part of our lives this year. You all know about the terrible wildfires which plagued my home state of California, in which too many lives were lost and countless people lost their homes. Boris and I had our own brush with fire when someone who lives in my condominium complex, who could be charitably described as troubled, decided to take revenge on the people who live here by setting the building on fire. On March 28th at 4 a.m., she took rags, stuffed them under the doors of her enemies that she intended to kill, including mine, and set fire to the rags using hairsprays and accelerant. Now, she only managed to light one door on fire and was in the process of lighting a second when someone who lives here woke up and managed to stop her. But even in that small time, she managed to do devastating damage to the building. I remember at 4 a.m. the fire alarm went off, and I grabbed Boris and ran out into the hallway, and the smoke was so thick that you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. I encountered some people who couldn't find their way out, so I managed to help them down, and I saw everyone in the building standing shivering in the street, including small children and little tiny animals like Boris, who this person, through demons in her head and a hatred that had accumulated throughout her lifetime, intended to slay. Now, about her, I have nothing to say. She's in the hands of law enforcement, who have done an excellent job, as have the fire officials who put out the flames. They told us that if it had gone on 2 minutes longer, the whole place would have gone up like a tinderbox. But fortunately, they got here in time and managed to put it out before anyone was hurt. The building, of course, sustained hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage, and it took almost the entire year before we were able to put things right. When I think about the fire, what strikes me is the fact that someone who I never gave any thought to at all had the power to try and snuff out my life and the lives of people close to me without my even being aware of it. I have here a button that I found on the floor shortly after the fire, and it's from the rags that she used to try and light my door on fire. Every once in a while I pick up this button and I look at it, and I think, boy, it's good to be alive. Because if this person had had their way, I wouldn't be. Boris wouldn't be. And it strikes me that life is something that we take for granted until it's suddenly threatened. So, as we approach the holiday season, and we have our parties and our get-togethers and our whatnots, I want you to think about this button once in a while. And when you do, like I do, just take a minute to think, boy, it's good to be alive. Because there are people out there who might think the world is better off without you in it. My brother Joe, known as Bro Joe, he joked with me that he was surprised that I was the first person in our family that someone had tried to murder. And if you know Bro Joe like I do, you would think, yeah, there are people in my family who would be better candidates than that for me. But I was the first, and I managed to live through it, and I have this button to remind me that it's good to be alive. So, however the holiday season works out for you, whether you get everything you want, or you're surprised by what you get, or you're disappointed, or whatever, just be happy that the greatest gift of all is the fact that you're able to be here and enjoy it with the ones you love and the ones who love you. So, on behalf of Boris and my neighbors who are still alive and kicking and doing well. I want to wish you a wonderful holiday season, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a blessed New Year. And I'm delighted that Boris and I are going to be able to be here to share it with you. Merry Christmas.